Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to Press for Truth. I'm your host, Dan Dix. Thanks for joining us once again today. Today we have a very special guest on the line. We're going to be speaking with Emilie Rensink. She's one of the main organizers behind the March Against Monsanto, which is set to take place this May the 25th in cities all over the world. So Emilie, thank you very much for taking some time to speak with us here today at Press for Truth.
Thank you so much for having me on, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. First of all, I just want to congratulate you for the tremendous success. This demonstration is looking like it's just going to be hugely groundbreaking and quite possibly history in the making for Monsanto as far as they're concerned. But why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about how you got involved in this movement, in this fight against Monsanto?
It's really amazing the way that this has taken off. It was started by one person as a Facebook page, and it's, I think a big part of why it's really taken off is because it's such a big tent issue, and we've had support from all kinds of people, from soccer moms to anarchists to libertarians to everything in between. And I actually got involved because I'm an activist here in Seattle, and I wanted to organize one here in Seattle. And so I started getting the ball rolling on that. And then I got in touch with the lady who created the Facebook page, Tammy Monroe Canal. And I realized it was exploding more than she had anticipated. And so I signed on to help her out, and I've helped her create a logo, and I helped get the flyers made. I made a little website, as just something where people can go get all the information they need. So that's kind of how I got involved.
Well, all your help has certainly contributed to, as you say, getting the ball rolling, and this ball is just snowballing into something huge. So this is very, very exciting. So for some of the people out there who might not even be that familiar with what Monsanto is, what can you tell us about what are some of the issues that people have with Monsanto?
Well, Monsanto is the largest owner of genetically modified crops in the world. I believe they own 90% of them. And so that's an issue right there in and of itself. They kind of have a monopoly over the world's food supply. And it's been largely in part of political favoritism, especially in the United States. The FDA is actually heavily run by some ex-Monsanto executives who give them special treatment and subsidies and things like that. And on top of that, there's been a mountain of research that has shown that GMOs have adverse health effects on people, such as the development of cancer tumors, infertility, and just all kinds of crazy things that we should be worried about.
Well, absolutely. No doubt about it. People need to be aware of this and be concerned about it. As far as you alluded to, kind of being in bed with government, what can you tell people about this recent Monsanto Protection Act, as it's being referred to, that Obama has recently signed?
I think that's been a big contributing factor to people being interested in the March Against Monsanto, even though the movement started about a month beforehand. But basically, there is certain clauses in there that prohibits legal repercussion against Monsanto for, I believe it has to do with their seed patenting and things like that. So it's just more, Monsanto Protection Act is really a good nickname for it, because it just basically gives them an extra umbrella of protection that other corporations aren't privy to.
Well, yeah, they're certainly looking out for their own. That's why we got to continue to network with one another and come together, just like we're going to be doing on May 25th. So why don't you tell some of the people about what kind of things do you hope to have accomplished from this demonstration on the 25th?
The number one goal is to inform people and spread awareness. And especially since this thing is so big, I think that's definitely possible. In fact, it'll be hard for it not to have that effect. And eventually, I would like it to lead to a large boycott of Monsanto and perhaps even a ban of GMOs in the United States, as they've done in some other countries.
Well, there seems to be a movement of banning GMOs all over the place. In Europe, I believe Peru just banned GMOs. Why do you think it is that we're lagging behind here in the West, in Canada, in North America? Why we're just blindly taking these genetically modified frankenfoods?
I think it's a two-part thing. I think part of it is that our governments, I'm sure it's the same way in Canada, where Monsanto executives are heavily in bed with the government. So the regulatory arms of the government aren't doing their supposed job of keeping us safe, against these dangerous GMOs. And then I think another part of it is the media, which is also corporate owned. And so, most news reporters and researchers, journalists, they're not looking at the evidence that points towards the dangers of GMOs, and they're too scared to call out Monsanto because it might affect their advertisers or whatnot.
Well, hopefully that will change come May 25th with this huge demonstration. What can you tell us about just how big this thing has gotten? Where around the world can people get involved with this? Tell us a little bit about the global movement here. Where can people get involved?
As of today, there are over 300 events in 40 countries on 6 continents. And in Canada, there are events in 27 cities. And in the United States, I believe we're at 48 states, plus Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. So pretty much anywhere you live, there will probably be one within driving distance of you. And in order to find the event list, you can go to our website, which is march-against-monsanto.com.
Well, that's awesome. This is just so exciting, especially considering just how big this thing is gonna get. Now, one of the things that I often like to focus on is, a day of demonstration is fantastic, but it's also very important to keep in mind what's going to happen the next day and the following days and the following weeks and following months. So if you have any kind of advice for people out there who already want to take part in this amazing demonstration, but if they want to get even more active in this fight against Monsanto, what can people do moving forward even after the march?
Well, I just started becoming an activist in the past year or so. I was a Ron Paul supporter, so I was involved, campaigning for him, and that kind of got the ball rolling for me. I think part of it is just to start. And that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to get involved with this, was to empower people to become activists. And it's been really inspiring to see people come out of the woodwork, mothers who are saying, I'll organize one for my city. I've never done this before, but I just want to because I care so much. And so just stay active and get in touch with the other activists that show up in your city, stay in touch and just keep the momentum going with other rallies and marches, as well as, maybe doing petitioning, become a citizen journalist, that's a big thing. And just stay active, basically.
Well, that's great advice. And I mean, it's incredibly important to stay active. I mean, this is food, after all. It's something that everybody, is interested in. We all have to eat food every day, so it's something that everybody should be paying very close attention to. especially, as you said, when there are studies coming out talking about cancerous tumors and adverse health effects and all these sorts of problems that are arising from ingesting GMO foods. I know that there was an initiative launched in California to have some of the foods labeled. Is there any kind of a push to have genetically modified foods labeled in America and Canada, or are we skipping that stage and going for the all-out ban?
Well, it was Prop 37 in California that was shot down, even though it was polling really high beforehand and it had all kinds of celebrity endorsements. But in fact, in my home state of Washington, we have I-522 going on right now. That is an initiative to label GMOs that I believe will be on the ballot in November.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. That's definitely a step in the right direction. People obviously should have the information available to them to make that informed choice about what kind of foods they are going to be ingesting for themselves and their families. So that's another great one. So why don't you tell the folks here some of the links that they can check out if they want to find one of these events in their towns, or where are your websites where people can go to learn more information from you guys?
We have a Facebook page and the official website. So the website is www.march-against-monsanto.com. And there you can find the full list of events. You can find our mission statement and press release and all kinds of helpful links. And then on Facebook, if you just search March Against Monsanto, you'll be able to find us.
Well, that's fantastic. We'll be sure to include all of these links in the description of this video so people can go and check that out. And I'll definitely be there, ladies and gentlemen, on May 25th to cover this important event. We're here at Press for Truth are actually working on a new documentary film about food, the importance of organic farming, the dangers of GMO, and the problems that these organic farmers are having with Monsanto. So we're going to be there to cover this one, and we encourage everyone else to come out to this very important event as well. So Emilie, once again, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Take care.
See ya.